welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is July the 26th, 2015. My name is Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Mr. Tom Reagan.
Hey, guys.
And Dan Curtis.
Could you said that with any more annoyance?
Dan's here.
God
this other
damn
guy. Got this other jackass, Mr. Curtis.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Even if he doesn't like it, I'm here. So,
Tom has really stepped his game up with his American accent. And
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why I was more excited. And because he was more willing to understand the differences in our dialect.
Yeah. You guys don't have U's, that's fine.
We do, we just ignore them.
they do. They just don't know where to go.
It routes things.
Color.
Routor.
Favorite.
Oh my god.
It's the American way.
Oh yes. How's everybody doing?
You sound
We're
very
good.
tired, Eric.
Let me tell you what, Dan. This was a rough week. Very rough week.
I saw
I
the
can tell you can
pictures.
hear the fatigue in your voice.
So, once a year, our company does a national sales summit here in Phoenix. And there's about 75 account executives, including myself, that they bring back into town. And then they have all of these vendors from around the country that we work with come in. And it's this huge week-long sales summit where the first 2 days we go through little breakout sessions where some major partners come in and they do small sales, not sales pitches, but training sessions on some of their new technology. And then the last 2 days are a trade show, just this huge, massive trade show where we get to go around and talk to all the different vendors and play with all the technology in the booths. But the real meat of this whole thing takes place after all those meetings are over, and it's just an absolute shit show. And this being my first one, it's really important for me to get out and network. And the very first night, I was out with a couple of the major vendors, and it's kind of bad form if you go to bed early and don't really make an effort to interact and network with these people. So after about a 15-hour workday, we decide, all right, we're going to go up to one of these villas. And it was at this really nice resort. This wasn't just a convention center where we're all staying dumpy hotels. Like, we rented out this massive resort with villas overlooking a golf course and like a 7-acre water park on the property. And one of my friends had bought a $160 bottle of tequila. And we're upstairs drinking tequila, and then one of the vendors orders up like 9 more bottles of whatever from the hotel bar. And then more people start showing up, and then they're like, okay, hey, let's go down to the bar. And by 1:30 in the morning, I'd had like 7 shots of tequila, 3 beers, 2 Long Island iced teas, and it's just, that's like, that tequila shit sneaks up on you real quick. Doesn't matter how expensive it is or how delicious it is, that stuff will catch up with you. And mind you, we all have to be
Is this the night when you sent me a message saying that you couldn't even open your suitcase?
Yes.
I laughed so much at that message.
I was so mad.
Just, I opened my phone and it said, "God, I'm so drunk, I can't even open my suitcase." and about 10 minutes later, it's okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So that, we were sitting outside on the patio, and I finally decided, you know what? I have to be up in 4 hours. I should probably go to bed. So I start walking back, and for the longest time, I'd actually felt fine, which I guess is what every drunk person says. And it's not until you remove yourself from the party that your body goes, oh yeah, by the way, you're drunk. Good luck sleeping tonight. And get back to the hotel room, hadn't unpacked anything, and my suitcase was on the floor. And I look at it, like, oh, fuck, I gotta lift this thing up. So I lift it up onto the bed. And it's one of those suitcases that has the main zipper to get into it, but then it's also got another series of zippers around the side where you can expand it or shrink it down based on how much shit's in it. And I could only find the zipper, apparently, that would open it up and allow it to raise up and down. So I'd unzip this, and then I'd go to lift the top, and it would lift up about a 1/4 inch to make more room inside. I'm like, oh, damn it. So I'd zip it back up, and I'd look around, and I'd grab the same zipper. I did that for probably 10 minutes. Like, I can't get into my suitcase. So I grabbed my...
I love how you messaged us as if we were going to help.
Yeah.
I think you actually did say send help.
I don't remember.
It's going to fly over to wherever you are.
I do...
You can come and open your suitcase.
Come over, knock on the door, unzip it. Here you go, buddy. Sleep tight. I do remember you sending something back, and it was... It had my favorite word in it. Let's see.
I can't remember.
Hold on.
Oh, you know you're in a bad way when that happens. 10 minutes of trying to open a bag you've owned for some time.
So here's the conversation. First of all, I sent you a text that said, "Ha, caramel, it's a word. Suck it, Dan," because there was a picture that actually had it called La Playa Caramel, Carmel. That was right when I got back to the room at 1:15 in the morning. And then it's followed very closely by, "God, I'm drunk. I can't open my suitcase." And then another message a minute later. It just says, "Help." Dan's, your instructions are too vag. I can't help. And then proudly a minute later, I said, "I got it. I needed to use the zipper." That was a rough night, guys. That was a real rough night.
I can imagine.
I woke up the next morning, went and had breakfast, and that was probably the worst day to have a hangover and just be tired, because it was 10 hours of just breakout sessions and sitting there and watching PowerPoints and listening to people talk. So fortunately, they had this constant bar of like sodas and snacks and coffee and all that stuff. So I just was pounding that, and finally came to, and I told myself, I'm not going to drink tonight. That didn't happen. I just hit it just as hard. But probably the best night was Friday night. The whole sales summit was over, and we went to Chase Field to see the Diamondbacks and Brewers play, and they rented out one of the 3-story suites out in right field with open bar and outside seating and a huge buffet. We stayed for the whole game, and then they came around and said, "Shuttles are leaving. You got to be down here at this time and that time." And we didn't make it to the shuttle. Instead, we're standing out at this super busy intersection with these thousands of people trying to leave, and we're trying to catch an Uber, just yelling at people. Like, 'cause we knew what we were looking for. Nobody knew what the...
What's an Uber?
You don't know what Uber is?
No.
It's like a taxi service.
It's like the second, sometimes the largest company in the world at the moment.
We have it in London, but I don't know if it's anywhere else. Maybe it's not.
It's huge. So the way it breaks down, Dan, is there's an app, and you just say, "I want to request a ride," and it just kicks it out to the nearest Uber driver, and it's just people with nice cars. They come and pick you up, and it's a super cheap taxi service. And
okay.
There's cops out there directing traffic. There's people everywhere, and we just know that an Uber is coming. No idea what it is. We knew the guy's name was Pepe, so we're standing at these corners. There's 7 of us just shouting Pepe. And we eventually find this thing. We see him, and he rolls down his window. He's like, "Hey, I'm here." Big 6-lane intersection. We just run out in the middle of it and get into this Uber and take a trip out to Scottsdale, which is like a 30-minute drive away. Huge car full of drunk people riding out to Scottsdale. And we get there to this dive bar, hang out there for a while, and realize it's 2 in the morning. We should probably get home because most everybody has to catch a flight the next morning. And on the way home, we decide we're hungry. So we wanted to stop and get breakfast at a Waffle House.
We don't have Waffle House. You have to explain.
You need to look up a picture
is.
of Waffle House. Surely you've heard of International House of Pancakes or IHOP, right?
I've heard of IHOP, yeah.
Okay.
But I've never been to one. I saw one in New York, but I didn't go in.
Dan, to imagine Waffle House, you need to picture a gas station that's maybe 50, 60 years old, never once been cleaned, and they serve food. It is the absolute...
Yeah, I'm looking on Google right now. It doesn't look great.
No, and so people rave about these things. So...
Is this like how English people have kebabs? Like when we have kebabs when we're drunk, you guys go to Waffle House?
Yeah, it's breakfast food. But before we even get there, the girl that we're riding with, she was one of the vendors. She accidentally grabbed the Uber driver's phone instead of hers and canceled the Uber ride, and we're still like 3 miles away. And form states that you can't drive anybody anywhere with Uber and if it's not on the clock. So we would have had to get out, call another Uber, and go two or 3 miles. And instead we just say, do we mind if we just give you cash and you can take us over there? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Nobody had cash except for one of my friends. And we get over to the Waffle House and he hands her some cash and she just goes, here you go, and gives it to the driver. And it's just $40 straight cash to go 3 miles. And we'd already paid him $40 for the ride. The dude made $80 in 25 minutes. So two of them take off because they're too drunk. They walk back to the resort, and we go into Waffle House and proceed to immediately not fit in because we're the only white people there, and just be loud, drunk, obnoxious. And fortunately, our waitress is pretty cool. But the best part of it was this particular Waffle House was situated directly next to a strip club. So the clientele coming in and out was top notch. And we watched this one guy. He gets his food to go. Nice Waffle House bag. Walks over to the strip club. I'm like, oh man, he's going to have some waffles and a lap dance. And it's just going to be, this dude's in for a great night. But about 3 minutes later, we hear somebody up at the counter kind of pissed off. And we look over and sure enough, it's lap dance waffle guy. And he's bitching about his omelet being made incorrectly. And normally when you have an issue, you would, bring the food back, which he didn't. But he walks up and he just says, you would think somebody would say, hey, you guys didn't make my omelet right. Can you make this correct? It was a 15-minute story about how his omelet was not correct. And we're just sitting there the whole time just laughing our asses off because this guy dove into his whole back life story about making omelets and how it wasn't correct and how he owns a restaurant and how he should come back there and make it himself. And the only thing we wanted to say is if you own a restaurant, a really high-end restaurant like you say, why are you eating waffles from Waffle House at 3 a.m. at a strip club?
Oh, God.
You should have done it.
Brilliant.
It might have all kicked off. You might have had a life story about that as well.
Oh, God. And it was just... So that night, we got back to the hotel about 3 a.m. Had to be up by 7 for breakfast. And, yeah, I'm just ticking off. I think collectively this whole week I got 18 hours of sleep between all 5 nights.
Oh, jeez.
So you're feeling good?
Yeah, because I won a ton of shit. Tons of shit.
You won?
Yeah. So
you won stuff?
Yeah. So they do raffles, and one of the vendors did a breakout session where they had Weakest Link, where they would just ask you stupid random questions. They had some Ron Burgundy impersonator in there doing a form of Weakest Link / Jeopardy, and I was one of the first people to volunteer. Ended up winning $160 worth of Amazon gift cards from that.
Sweet. Nice. What are you buying us?
I'm buying myself a bunch of junk because...
No, what about us?
Yes.
I'll send you pictures of what I buy.
That'll do.
Great.
After the trade show, the vendors would give out prizes, so they were just drawing random names out of all the account executives, and they were just gift cards. I won a $100 Visa gift card. One of my friends won a 55-inch Hitachi TV. Sony gave away 4 PS4s, the Batman Arkham editions.
I want one of them.
Bunch of Chromecasts, laptops, Chromebooks, more TVs. So,
on a side note, have you guys seen the Phantom Pain PS4?
yes,
That looks so
nice.
nice.
I don't like it very much.
Oh, Dan, come on, man. It's Metal Gear.
But I
Metal Gear
love Metal
PS4.
Gear, but I don't think it looks very Metal Gear-y. It's just red.
I guess it's supposed to be in tune more with Phantom Pain than the previous ones. But
it would be cool if it had like Snake on it
that.
or something, but it's just red.
He's got a red arm in the game.
Yeah, and there's a lot of blood on the new poster.
Yeah. So, well, that was my week. So that's why I sound like I sound like an inside out anus.
Couldn't have described it better myself.
Inside out anus.
Yeah.
My week's just been packing.
Packing?
I'm packing because I'm moving house next week.
You're moving to a house?
I'm moving to a new apartment.
Didn't you just move into this 500 square foot one?
No, that's the one I'm moving to. The one I live in is like the 400 square foot one or whatever.
You're going to have an extra closet.
Ooh, upgrade.
I know. I'm so excited.
You know, Tom, if you move out of London, you get a lot more space.
It's very true.
You know where else you get a lot of space?
You get a lot less money.
Here in America.
Yeah, but you end up spending more of your money on rent, so...
What? No. My rent is like half of Tom's.
Not in America, in London, doofus.
Doofus. Such a doofus. Yeah.
You are a doofus. Or a melty brain is my new term for Eric.
I like it. So, how many boxes do you need to pack up all your stuff? 3?
No, it's fucking loads, man. I can't believe how much shit we've acquired over the last 2 years.
Wait till you get a house. A house is just a roof for all your shit.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we haven't got loads of like furniture because we rented a furnished apartment. So we don't have to bring like a bed or a sofa. It's just like boxes of crap, and like we've bought a few pieces of furniture, like a desk and TV stand, that bookcases, that kind of stuff. But it shouldn't be too bad. We've got a man with a van coming on Saturday. Next Saturday, he's just going to pull up.
Deeply suspicious.
It's a man with a van. Is it?
You know what? I've still got so much stuff at my parents', like, because I can't fit it here. It's just.
Oh, really?
Every so often, I keep sneaking stuff back. Like a few weeks ago, and I brought my PS2 and a few games, but I've still got tons of PS2 games at my parents'. So
yeah, see, I managed to somehow have my entire life in this one flat, whereas my girlfriend's got half of her stuff at her parents', but my parents live in like other countries, so I have to just keep everything in one area.
You have to live frugally.
Yeah, I have to be like, all right, we're going to buy this book, but where's it going to live? Where's it going to...
Looks like we got to get rid of the fridge.
Yeah.
Who needs a
what's
fridge?
that lamp you're picking up? Where's that going to go? Yeah.
Oh, man.
We're going to have a freezer in the next flat. I can't wait.
You don't have a freezer?
No. We've got like a little tray. You can get like maybe one burger in there, if you're lucky.
You don't have a freezer?
No, everything has to be bought fresh.
How big is your fridge? It's like one of those,
like a meter high.
It's a mini fridge.
So it's a college dormitory fridge.
Yeah, imagine 2 mini fridges piled on top of each other. I guess it's tiny. Yeah.
Jesus.
Honestly, you would not believe the size of my flat because of the jobs, man. All the jobs are here.
Why don't you commute in?
Well, you can move out and commute in, but I'd rather just be amongst it all, to be honest. I'm happy with the sacrifice.
I hate it. It's horrible.
Wait till you come to Phoenix, Dan.
People either love it or hate it.
Yeah, but is everybody in Phoenix a dick?
It's possible.
Because, like, honestly, right, when we went down London, me and Crystal last year, we were going for an event, and because we didn't really know how the tube worked, so we went and talked to this information guy, and I've never seen somebody look so irritated to be asked a question. Like, Crystal may as well have just walked up to him and done a shit on him. Because that's what it was like.
I mean...
But, like, bear in mind, this guy works at the information kiosk.
Yeah.
That is
You're
his
going to
only
get some of that.
purpose
I think it's a very anonymous place. Like people just kind of getting on with their lives. No one really talks to each other.
Sounds more like
it's
New
a
York.
strange
Nobody
place.
It sounds like
Nobody makes
It's
eye
like New
contact.
York.
Yeah.
If you've been to New York, it's just like New York. It's people are here for their careers and stuff.
they don't give a shit about anyone else.
Yeah, yeah. And then eventually you move out. You move further out of London, and then you get a house, and then you get a car, and that's how it kind of goes. But like this
Then
is
you
where all my
die
jobs
'cause you're
are,
about
unfortunately.
90.
Yeah, that's the story of life, everybody.
So why bother with anything? You're just going to die in the end.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, basically.
We're getting deep now.
You know
guys.
what I forgot to mention? Jess isn't
Go for
here.
it. We should explain why Jess isn't.
She's
here.
on a motorcycle ride.
That's so
In
bad.
reality, she's been kidnapped by that guy who was outside a house last
I
week.
was really looking
Yeah.
forward to an update.
I wonder if his friend did come.
What?
Oh, it would be funny. I said last week he'd probably come back with a friend.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope he did.
Did you guys see that picture I sent you yesterday of what Christy bought me for our anniversary?
Yes, I did.
Yes, Mega Man.
Mega Man Complete TV Series Collection.
I didn't
I
even know there was a
have
Mega TV series.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
It's
That's crazy.
probably going to be awful based on how some of the old video game cartoons were, but I'm pumped for it. I just hope his voice isn't nearly as obnoxious as Link's was in the Zelda series. But based on his
Link doesn't
face...
speak.
What?
Link doesn't speak.
Yeah, I know. In the cartoon series, he did, and he was annoying as hell.
I hate games where the main character doesn't speak.
Oh, yeah, that silent
I don't know why.
protagonist it's the worst.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why I don't know
Can't
how are they
what
going to
else
do
to
that
do.
Zelda movie.
He just like draws.
Doing
on-
a Zelda movie.
Well, did you see that? It was a fan-made trailer mock-up, and they're like, "We're going to try to push this into a full-length movie," and it was really well done. But
Wasn't that IGN's April Fools like 3 years ago or something?
no, it was just this past year.
Okay. See, I used to love the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon.
Oh, those were
That was
awesome.
my favorite. Yeah.
It's quite good actually. That wasn't bad.
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's
That's
like
great.
your really spastic friend from middle school who's cool, yet he's really obnoxious, and you're only really friends with him because he's cool.
It was Sonic.
Yeah.
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 But at the end of the day, you're like, man, he's kind of fucking
And if-
annoying.
That was a very good one, though.
And if
I used to have them
If
on,
you
I used to
didn't
have them
have
on
a friend-
VHS.
What, Tom?
really, I was going to say if you didn't have a friend like that, then that was you.
Yeah, you were that friend. If you don't recall the really obnoxious friend in middle school, it was probably you.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Sonic, this week,
Nice segue.
you like that? I built that up, and thanks for ruining it by pointing it out. It's like explaining a joke. It instantly becomes less funny.
Yeah. I just like to crap on you. It's good.
I enjoy it. We played Sonic 3D Blast, also known as Flickies.
Flicky's Island.
Island.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Flickies,
Ricky's Island.
which is a stupid
yeah.
name.
I guess it kind of makes sense
Stupid.
because the
Stupid.
birds you collect are flickies.
Yeah, but are you really on an island? I suppose the opening cutscene
I
shows
don't
an
know.
island like Donkey Kong Country, but
Yeah.
talk
Didn't-
about
did you guys?
a shit opening cutscene. Oh my god.
Oh god!
I opened that, started watching, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh shit, this is gonna be pants.
I thought my game was broken.
I thought my game was broken. Like, what
It
is
was
this?
bugging out.
What's this
I
horse
was like,
shit?
oh, I thought my screen's colors had all fucked up.
Somebody made this? Or am I looking at the toilet? Oh, Jesus.
What are you playing, Tom? I don't know. It's broke as shit.
Did you wipe your ass on the TV? Jesus.
Actually, did you guys ever play Flickies on the Sega Mega Drive? There's actually a game called Flickies.
No, but I looked it
Or
up
Flicky.
and I found out that that's what this is based on, kind of.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Seems like a weird
it's pretty
crossover.
Yeah.
So, Dan, since you are the resident Sonic boner sporter, jeez.
Sonic and Batman.
Yeah.
What you want is Sonic versus
Final
Batman.
Fantasy. Final Fantasy
That
VII,
might be the
yeah.
worst way to describe somebody.
and Cloud.
Before we get into it, though, why is it called 3D Blast in America? What's it got to do with Blast?
Because it's the first 3D Sonic game, and it's a fucking blast to play.
Oh,
That's probably how that
okay.
conference went, or that meeting. Well, we need a name for this. Okay, it's 3D, and it's a fucking blast to play. All right, Sonic 3D Blast.
All right, let's
Then
go and get a drink.
Europeans aren't allowed to be that excited, so we just get Flickies out.
Their meeting went more like, well, you see here, we got Flickies, and it takes place on an island, so we'll call it. It's a flicky full of an island full of flickies, so we'll call it Flicky's Island. Okay, pip pip cheerio, see you at tea.
I enjoyed that so much.
That was beautiful. You should do all of the podcast in that voice.
It was like a 60s Londoner.
Yes. Pip pip. Well, I'm trying to channel that guy at the conference. Because so over there, I don't know if you guys. This is a total. It makes no sense in the context of what we're talking about. But ear piercings. Do people over there do the gauges where they put those holes in them and then make them bigger and bigger and bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're called flesh tunnels.
Are they?
Yeah. That's what they're called.
That's not true.
I take
is
it
it?
they're not called that in America.
they're called gauges.
Gauges.
Because
I've never heard that.
because you gauge it out. The gauge gets bigger and bigger, so they're called gauges.
No,
I
we
guess
stretch
that
out
makes
our
sense.
flesh tunnels.
Yeah. Flesh tunnels, man. It was like when we were teenagers and people would like stretch them and be like, oh, your flesh tunnels are getting bigger.
I feel like if you said that to a girl, she'd get really offended.
If only
I see where
Jess
you're
was
coming
here.
from. I never...
Oh my god, that is the worst. Anyway,
I've never heard that. Where have you got that from?
Not until it was commonplace across the land. Maybe not.
this guy that I'm channeling had
No, really not.
a single flesh tunnel. Not two, just one. Just his left flesh tunnel.
Yeah. What would you normally have some symmetry going on? And like,
I've
get them
never
both?
seen anybody with only one flesh tunnel.
I guess, yeah.
There's
I guess so.
usually
I've seen them with...
two flesh tunnels of equal size, one in each
Yeah.
flesh lobe.
So he's got a
I've
wonky
seen-
ear, basically.
Yes, and he's got a very posh accent. And then the other, like, really small, aggressive Jason Statham guy would pop in and just like, yeah.
I've seen
That's all
some
he
guys
says.
massive flesh
Just,
tunnels.
it's like Matt Damon on Team America. He just every so often just pops up going, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. My Jason
Just in
Statham
the middle of
accent.
conversations, very serious. Yeah.
My Jason Statham accent is far worse than my Tom Reagan accent.
The Tom Reagan accent is very good, though.
I know. I practiced it.
I like it.
Yes.
You practiced it.
I just lay in bed at night and just channel Tom.
Need to practice my accent next.
I'll just flush the toilet whenever I want to hear you.
Oh.
Toilet joke.
Oh. I can't be nearly as
Right,
highbrow as flesh tunnels.
Damn me, that's terrible. Right, so back to Sonic. From flesh
Yes.
tunnels to Sonic 3D.
Sonic's Flesh Tunnel.
It's flawless segue.
That's the German name.
Banned in most countries. Definitely Australia for sure, because they ban everything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. They banned books over there. hell's up with
Jesus
that?
So
Christ.
how much of Sonic 3D did everybody manage to play?
I got to the third stage
I got
with this.
with the springs.
Yeah, I think it's called Spring Stadium. Is that
Yeah,
what it's
that's
called?
where I got to because fuck that
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Dan?
I got
You
up
completed
to
it, right?
the lava zone.
There's no lava zone.
The lava zone.
Volcano Valley.
Yes.
So,
So
what's
that's
that?
where I got to. I got further than you. It's like 2 or 3 levels ahead of you
I think
guys.
that was level 5.
Oh,
So Dan, talk me through Sonic
what did you guys make of it?
3D Blast. Before we share what we thought of it, what the hell is
Yeah.
this thing?
Well, it's a weird one because obviously Sonic's always been, up until this point, it's 2D, so it's kind of isometric top-down kind of thing where you can move in all directions, and you have to, rather than just blast through the level, you have to defeat 5 badniks, which is the robot things, which and then they have these flickies inside them. You have to rescue 5 of the flickies, get them to follow Sonic, then get to a giant ring of the level, rescue the flickies, and then you can get to the next area of the level or finish the level. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
If you
To be honest.
the best way that I can describe how this game looks and plays is if you were to take Qbert and mix it
Yeah.
with Marble Madness and the isometric view of the old skateboarding game 720 and then drop Sonic into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of not a Sonic game and they've just thrown Sonic in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that
So-
impression too. It was fun. I actually had a blast playing it, but it's kind
I
of
see what you did there.
well, duh. That's why I was named that.
Their marketing has worked.
I thought it was just like you said. Sonic it's traditionally 2D and very fast paced. That's kind of what the Sonic brand is built on, and this game was slow.
Slow. Yeah, that's exactly what I was. That's the
Real
first thing I
slow.
take away.
And you have to go slow. You can't go fast through it, mainly because of how the levels are designed, but also because,
Yeah, you can't see anything.
yeah, it's like trying to... I don't know if you've ever played the old Genesis game, Landstalker. They've got the same isometric view, and it was a 3D isometric platforming style game that it's impossible to make certain jumps just based on the limitation of the technology. You can't really see a proper perspective, and you just have to go slow. It's just walking Sonic around.
Yeah, I had that
Yeah.
experience in Cool Spot 2, like when he's in Hollywood or something. That's very similar. It has the kind of isometric view and it's very difficult to play. So,
Yeah, it's just yeah, you do have to creep along, and when you come off the back of the original Sonic games, and you could like blitz a level in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And the level design on those 2D versions is just much nicer. I got a bit lost at times. I don't know if you've found that. Like if you fell off a ledge and you had to find your way back, I got a little bit disorientated in some of the levels. I mean, I don't know if you found that.
Oh, yeah. Just like, well, where the hell am I now? If you fall off a cliff, suddenly you're back in the first zone and
Yeah.
got to walk your way through again. I did think it was pretty cool how... I'll admit, I didn't really at first realize that you had to defeat the enemies to get the flickies. They don't really make that readily apparent. So I got through the first level, got to the ring, and went, what do I do? Like I'd sit there and I'd swing around it like it was a monkey bar, and like, okay, this is fun. What do I do? And because every time I'd try to jump on the enemies, I would do it wrong and die. But finally figured that out, and
Yeah.
I like the.
So yeah, I was using the spin dash move to kill the enemies because that's easier.
Oh yeah.
You just kind of it's mapped to square on my control. You just press square and then he just kind of rolls along the floor and you just wander into them and it breaks them. So that makes life easier.
Well, there's the one flicky that pisses me off every time. It's the red one that just bounces around, and it's impossible to pick him up, especially when you get to the spring stadium with the floors that have spikes, and he's bouncing around on that shit, and you're constantly having to jump. It just got annoying. But I liked how they had certain things only collectible if you had all 5 of the flickies with you at the time. Like if you jump up on the spring, there'd be a free guy, or as Dan would say, an extra life. At the top of the crest.
I think they're continue icons, actually.
Yeah, I think they are, because the number doesn't go up in the bottom left.
There's certain ones that you can collect where they do go up, isn't it? Or is that the extra...
That's the power of the monitors, which you have to break.
I like the little spin mechanic when you walked over those panels and you just spin. You have to crash through the pillars and stuff. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
Like,
so did anybody manage to find Knuckles and Tails?
I did. The first time I saw him on the first level, I looked at well, I guess Tails is a guy, and said, "What the hell do I do with you?" Like they just stood and posed for a picture together, and you stole some money. Like I need these coins. So
Rings
are in a coin shape.
Thank you.
And I just didn't do anything after that.
Ring shape.
Yeah, I didn't do anything with that after. But they were used for getting the Chaos Emeralds, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So after you told me that, I decided to start dumping coins into them. And let me tell you what, that
rings.
No, I'm just going to say coins from now on, just to get on your tits.
Every time you do, I will say rings.
Good. I'm gonna call them loops or donuts.
Rings.
Yeah,
Donuts.
Donuts. How many of the Chaos Emeralds were there, Dan?
7.
7. And how did you collect all 7 and not beat the game?
Because I got all 7 by like level 2. It's really easy. This Sonic game has the easiest special stage of all of them. It's like you can just do it, and it's just you get them straight away. Whereas on the other Sonic games, you have to be really good at them to actually.
Oh
get
yeah, because the other ones were like the pinball style
Yeah.
thing, and you could fall out of the level at any time, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's Sonic 1. Sonic 2 is the half pipe.
Yep.
Where you have to.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Sonic 3 is the one where you have to collect the blue spheres.
Well, this
Kinda...
this version had when they released this on the Saturn, they actually brought back that 3-dimensional half pipe. So the Mega Drive is just the bridge, collecting rings, jumping over the bombs, and then the PC version of this also has the half pipe similar to Sonic 2.
Oh, I might have to try that.
Yeah, because
it is
Mega
very
Drive
easy.
Yeah, it is easy. The Mega Drive one came out in 96 and the PC was 97, so they must have changed some bits. Which is like, it's a really, really late Genesis game. Like Crash Bandicoot was already out at that point, wasn't it? And various other platforms.
I'm not sure, to be honest. Might have been.
This game looked surprisingly good for a Genesis game, because I played it in the Sonic Genesis collection on PS3. Booted it up, and I actually had to just double check to make sure I wasn't playing the Saturn version. It looks good, it plays good.
Yeah, it's not bad. I was surprised it wasn't a 32X game or something, or a Mega CD, because it kind of...
Yeah, they probably flopped by that point. So
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the Chaos Emeralds, you actually have to get all them to access the last level of Sonic 3D. So that's why you get them on this one.
Can you actually... Oh, the game does end after the Panic Zone, or the Panic Puppet Zone, right? If you don't have all the Chaos Emeralds?
Yes. But if you have them all, it goes on to a final fight against Robotnik, which is, if I remember correctly, is very difficult.
I didn't find the
Very
bosses too difficult in this game.
I love the bosses on this
No.
one though, because like I like how he gets damaged over time when you're jumping on him. I think it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
The one on the Rusty
I
Ruin
found
was
it
cool
hard.
with the Aztec guy where you had to ride his hands up to jump on him.
Yeah.
But I found that I could only jump on the hand nearest to the camera.
Yeah.
I couldn't get onto the one further away, and I was really it was very frustrating because you have to. It's hard to know exactly where you are on the map because of the isometric viewpoint. So yeah, I always had to use the near hand to get up to him.
Yeah, just a limitation.
But
on
it
the
was
system.
cool. Yeah, it was a cool idea though.
What else did we like about it?
I like it purely for nostalgia because I had it when I was a kid, I guess. But it's not the best of the Sonic games. It's okay. I think after a while, the collecting the flickies gets a bit repetitive.
The game felt like one giant fetch quest is all it was. And they just took like a lot of the sound effects and the features from previous Sonic games and just dumped it into this. And I didn't really feel
Yes,
like
they
it
did.
was too terribly original.
Yeah, a lot of the sounds were from the very first Sonic.
I loved
Which is, like,
for as much as I hated the Spring Zone, I loved all the sound effects in there because there's that casino level in, was that Sonic 2, Dan?
Oh,
There's 2 casino levels. There's 1 and 2, and there's 1 and 3.
So probably 2 because that's the one I played the most of. Just the sound effects from that is awesome. Dan, did you notice, so here's some trivia based on this game. Did you notice that this is the second time where Knuckles' socks are the wrong color?
Really?
Yeah, they're blue instead of, what color are they supposed to be?
White.
Green.
Green.
Oh.
Yeah, the first game was Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where they were yellow when you weren't playing as Knuckles.
You've done your research.
Yeah. What else is there?
But Knuckles and Tails actually don't serve any purpose apart from just standing, like you said,
Yeah.
posing for the thing.
So in other Sonic games, what does collecting all of the 7 emeralds typically unlock?
Sonic 1, it unlocks a secret ending. Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, you can become Super Sonic or Super Knuckles.
Uh-huh.
And then if you plug Sonic and Knuckles into Sonic 3, you can become Hyper Sonic and Hyper Knuckles by getting the Hyper Emeralds,
So this game
which is...
is the second game where collecting all 7 emeralds does not unlock Super Sonic.
Yes. Look at you with your trivia.
Trivia.
Well, no, because there's Sonic Spinball and stuff like that.
Is that a true Sonic game, though?
Yes.
Oh.
It's terrible, but it still counts.
Let's see, what else is there?
I remember hearing about one called Sonic and Crackers. Is that a real thing?
What?
I think that's like
No.
a beta version of
Is it a bootleg or something?
Yeah,
Ah,
it's
okay.
there's a game for 32X I think called Knuckles Chaotix, which is where they introduce
Right.
characters such as Charmy Bee and the crocodile guy and stuff like that, Mighty the Armadillo, and I think in that one you kind of you're attached to each other by a ring or something. You kind of
Oh,
have to
yes,
use the
yes.
two characters. To,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
You're right.
That's a bizarre game. Very strange.
Did that ever actually come out?
Yeah.
It did, yes. You can
Yeah.
download it and play it.
It had similar use of the isometric stuff from Sonic 3D, Sonic 3D Blast. But yeah, did you guys ever play
There is
Sonic
actually,
Adventure on the?
On the Genesis or the Dreamcast?
Yeah,
I've always wanted to.
I've played Sonic Adventure briefly, I think, but I couldn't get it to control very well, so I didn't end up finishing it.
It's always on sale
Yeah,
on
so-
PS2 for a couple bucks.
Oh, I didn't realize they moved it over to PS2.
I think there's a...
Here's another fun fact for you. Sonic 3D was developed by Traveller's Tales, who also started making Crash after Naughty Dog gave up on Crash.
Yeah,
This is the...
I noticed that.
They kind
when
of
I
just
figured it
jump
out.
in and steal everybody's stuff, don't they?
This was the first game where they actually developed a game, right? Traveler's Tales?
Oh.
I think it was their
I don't know,
developmental
to be honest.
debut.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they don't have any of their own IPs. They just jump on other people's. Yeah, we'll have a go making that. We'll have a
I
go
think they
ruining
made Crash
that for you.
Bash as well.
Apparently, the world
There
record.
is actually meant to be a pseudo sequel to Sonic 3D called Sonic Extreme, which was meant to come out for Saturn, I think.
Huh.
And if you Google that, you can actually see if there's some leaked video footage of it. It's very strange.
What was it called?
It's kind of Sonic Extreme. So X-Treme.
Oh Jesus, that is extreme.
So I can't describe it. It's like really
That
weird.
is a shitty box art cover. Oh my god.
It's kind of like a weird 3D thing where, like properly 3D, but kind of it's all like 360 degrees, so you can like kind of go around the world,
Look at those
like kind of like
textures.
Super Mario Galaxy, very primitive.
Whew. That's rough.
But it got canned before it actually come out.
That's probably for the
So-
best.
I know it looks atrocious.
Crash Bash was by Eurocom, Dan. And
Was
they
it?
did.
Ah.
Yeah, and the guys who did Duke Nukem 64. I don't know what else they did. Bunch of other things.
Bunch of other
But
things.
I think Traveller's Tales did The Wrath of Cortex, the one you've just got. Did you get that for PS2 in the end?
No, it still hasn't arrived.
What?
Yeah, I ordered it on Monday. I'm still waiting. I thought it would be here yesterday, but it hasn't come.
Oh, is this the one that you ordered right after the podcast?
Yes.
Huh.
And I opened the letterbox yesterday, hoping it would be there, and I just like went, oh, such disappointment.
They didn't give you any shipping information on it?
It says Friday to Tuesday now that I look at it, but
Tuesday
quicker.
with a CH in front of it. It's Tuesday.
what do you say?
Tuesday?
It's not the letter 2, is it? Come on.
No, but it's TUE. There's no CH in front of it. It's a Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Oh, shut up, Eric.
Never gets old.
Oh, look, Traveller's Tales made Guinness World Records, the video game.
Wow.
Wow.
Now literally all they do is Lego games.
And they do a good job at it.
And I think GoldenEye reboots as well.
They did that, did they?
Yeah, the one for Wii. You know, they re-released, or not redid GoldenEye or whatever, and they thought, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be just like the N64 one. It's definitely
And
not.
it wasn't.
No, absolutely
It's not referenced on the list of games they've done. Are you sure it's Traveller's Tales?
What for Wrath of Cortex? I think it was Eurocom and Traveller's Tales together, yeah.
Anything else we want to share on Sonic?
No, I think we've about covered everything.
Yeah, it's pretty simplistic.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But overall, did you
I-
enjoy it?
I enjoyed it for the time I played it. I couldn't picture myself plowing through it.
Yeah, I liked it. I played a little bit. I played it on my PSP this morning.
Ooh.
Had a nice go on it. It was alright. I found some of the jumping bits difficult because of having to jump into the screen further.
Yeah.
And figure out where I was. But I mean, like, it's a product of its time, and it was a nice experiment with 3D for the Mega Drive. So it was quite cool. They didn't totally piss all over Sonic. It was
Not yet. That comes later.
good effort. Yeah, that came later on in the generations.
But is that not the start of the downhill slide?
Yeah.
'Cause after that, there's no Sonic Adventure come out. That was well received.
Sonic Adventure DX was good.
Sonic Heroes wasn't too bad.
You know, the
Okay.
latest Sonic game that I actually really enjoyed was the All Stars Racing Transformed. because the
Nah.
All-Star Racing was garbage, but then they added that transformed feature into it, and it was really good. You need to play it. Give it a shot. It's fun.
I might one day. I liked Sonic Generations. That was really good because it was a throwback to the old ones.
What was your take on episode 4?
Shite.
Really?
It just kind of tried to recycle ideas from the first two, but because it was done worse than the first two, it was rubbish. So, I don't know. I thought it was okay, but Sonic didn't feel right. Like, he didn't control like he should do. It just made it harder to play than it should be.
It was quite well received, though, that one, I think.
I think people were just clamoring for a new Sonic
It wasn't
game.
because it was meant to be 3 parts, and they've never made part 3 because it wasn't well received.
Oh, really? It was that IGN gave it an 8. But maybe that was just for that episode. And now
It's all right. It's all right, but you play it against like Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, which still hold up really well, and it's just rubbish.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Fair enough.
So, yeah. But speaking of Sonic 3, I also blitzed through that within the last week, I think.
I get bored with Sonic games. I can play them every once in a while, but I just get burned out on them.
I love them. Sonic 3, I've played loads of times.
I don't think I've ever really played Sonic 3 or 2 properly. I just love the original on the Mega Drive. That's the one I remember from childhood.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Tom. You'll love it.
Is that the one where you could stack
Yeah,
4 cartridges on top of each other?
Yes.
Yeah. Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Well, you
Can
could
you play
stack
as
2,
Knuckles in that game?
not 4. Well, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles were originally meant to be the same game. So you would play through both. But due to time, Sega decided to cut them apart. And then when Sonic and Knuckles come out, it comes with a flap on the top of the cartridge which you can plug Sonic 3 into. And when you do that, you can play through both games back to back. But once you get to the end of Sonic 3, if you've got all the Chaos Emeralds, that then turn into the Hyper Emeralds, you have to do the special stages again, collect all the Hyper Emeralds, and then you can be Hyper Sonic or Hyper Knuckles. Which is really cool.
Sounds too complicated.
Ooh.
Not interested, I can't work it out.
I can't be arsed.
It could be arsed.
Can't be arsed.
You got to work on your American accent, Dan.
Give me a gosh darn cheeseburger.
Burger. Wow.
I'm gonna put on my sneakers and get a cheeseburger.
Did you guys play anything else this week?
I've been playing Ni no Kuni.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. Right. It reminds me so much of games like Jade Cocoon for the PS1. Did you guys ever play that? Yeah,
Nope.
like kind of. It's even though Jade Cocoon wasn't amazing or anything, but it reminds me of it. And obviously games like the Pokemon series and stuff. And the battle system reminds me of the Tales games that we talked about a couple of episodes ago. And I didn't realize that both games were published by Namco Bandai. So I think if you guys like Ni no Kuni, which obviously you do, then you should definitely check out a Tales game.
They did the...
I think Ni no Kuni is one of my favourite RPGs in the last few years, to be honest. It's fantastic.
It's so good. It really is. Like I totally echo your guys' thoughts on it. It's really, really fun.
Well, how far have you got, Tom? How far have you got?
I'm probably only about... Well, I know I'm 3.5 hours through. So it's not... I've barely scratched it, to be
my
honest.
only complaint with it is that about 6 hours, maybe between 6 and 10 hours in, the voice acting drops almost completely off.
Oh, no, don't tell me that. Because I love the Welsh fairy.
Oh, he's the best character ever. I love him.
He's great. Oh, he's great. Yeah. So what do you mean it drops off? Like, you just don't hear it as much? Or do you mean it drops in quality?
No, you just don't hear it as much. I think after 14 hours, I very, very rarely remember hearing any voice acting.
There's loads of clips in it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the voice acting, the The full motion Studio Ghibli videos. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. You know how they go through and have the full cartoon.
But the whole thing's kind of done. The whole thing's kind of done in the Studio Ghibli style. So
no, it's done in. They've got it's more the level 5 cell shading style. When they do the anime style videos, the FMVs, that those significantly drop off, almost to be non-existent.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry. The voice acting is still there, not the videos, the movies.
So you're talking out your backside as usual.
Quite possibly.
But yeah, it's really, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm kind of juggling that along with Final Fantasy.
But Ni no Kuni is like this much surprisingly long RPG.
Oh yeah,
it's like you'll get to when you get to the halfway point, you'll think you're at the end, but you won't be.
Well, I remember asking you, Dan. I was just getting to the part where I'm not gonna ruin anything, but at that foggy swamp, and I'm probably like 40 hours into it. And I said, okay, I've got to be coming to the end, and like, nope, you're barely halfway.
That's true.
Wow.
But there's like on top of that, there's probably about another 40 hours.
Jeez,
worth of really good stuff. And then there's a load of side quests. So
Jesus, yeah, it's one that luckily, like, it's quite easy to leave it for a bit and come back to it because it kind of it holds your hand in telling you where you can go next for the main storyline.
My suggestion, if you really want to enjoy the game, is turn off the star indicator on the map to show you where to go. That actually super takes away from the enjoyment of the game.
Okay.
Yes, you need to do the old RPG style of talking to everyone to make sure to find out where you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I've been playing Final Fantasy 12, and if you'd like, there's quite on most Final Fantasy games. If you talk to somebody, there's a good chance they might give you an item or a handy hint.
Yeah.
But most people on Final Fantasy 12 just spout nonsense and aren't helpful. So I've stopped talking to them.
Yeah. I've been playing Final Fantasy X for the PS4, and like you say, you talk to random people and they'll give you a potion and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really refreshing JRPG to play because they've graphically redone the whole thing, and it's got the old soundtrack as well from the PS2, which is really nice.
I
don't like Tidus's face, though. He looks weird.
Less blocky.
He looks more like a woman.
He does look very effeminate, but most of the characters in Final Fantasy do, right?
Yeah, they're all
Except
androgynous.
for maybe Barrett.
Yeah. What annoys me about Final Fantasy X and X-2 is when you go at the cutscenes and like Yuna looks Japanese, but she doesn't look Japanese in the gameplay, and it's really irritating.
Yeah.
So I just don't know why they did that. It must have been handled by two completely different people.
Yeah, it's nice to play though. I've been enjoying it. Yeah. And
I love X.
retro-wise,
Such a good game.
I also played a game called Snatcher. Have you guys heard of Snatcher?
No.
No?
I've heard of it.
Snatcher is a Mega CD game, and it's basically like the film Blade Runner. It's set in a cyberpunk dystopia in the year 2047. And there are these life forms that come down to Earth and kill victims and steal their bodies and walk around undetected as these humans. And these life forms are known as Snatchers. And you work for the CIA kind of thing. And you have to... the CIA guys, they're called junkers, people who hunt these Snatchers.
So this is the video game version of Blade Runner.
Video game version of what, sorry?
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner. Yeah, essentially. And it's like it's a bit like Heavy Rain in terms of like it's just an interactive drama kind of thing. Like look, investigate, touch, they're your sort of things, like ask, and you have to just interact with elements on the screen. It's a bit like Broken Sword or Monkey Island, those kind of games.
There's boobs in it.
And it's Kojima's game. He made it for the Mega CD.
Ah, yes, there's Metal Gear
like,
Mark II.
Yeah, and it's got like, you know, the little Metal Gear. Is that what it is, Mark II? The little thing that follows you around in 4.
Yeah.
He's like he's called Metal Gear in the game Snatcher. So there's loads of nods to Metal Gear in the game. So if you're a fan of like Kojima's work and Metal Gear in general, it's a really cool game to play.
I have to play this.
I think if you guys like, good backstory and a nicely fleshed out title from an incredible curator of games, then you'd
Wonder
really
how
like
long
this game.
it is.
I think it's about 7 hours. 7 hours,
Not bad.
on average. Yeah, it's all right. And it's got save points and stuff because it's a Mega CD game, so you don't have to use states or you can use states if you want to, but yeah, it's worth a look. I've only played like an hour of it so far, but
Looks like there's a Japanese DS version.
ooh, didn't know that. I know that in Europe we only got it on the Mega CD, I think, unless it was re-released at any point.
Oh, never mind. It's a homebrew version of Snatcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I recommend it if you guys get a chance.
Interesting.
I shall pick that up.
Really, it may well be more a story than a game, but
Yeah.
it's got some gameplay elements to it. It works. But what have you been playing, Eric?
A lot of alcohol. That's about it.
Oh yeah, of course. You have like a DS with you or something?
I had no time. I had
3DS.
zero time to do anything. I mean, we were technically working 16 hours to 20 hours out of the day and got about 4 hours of sleep. They did one of the breakout sessions on the last day. They did an informal survey of people just to kind of show them how Google Forms works. And one of the questions was, on average, how many hours of sleep do you think you were getting each night? And the answers were 1 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 plus, and 90% of people said 1 to 4. It was very, very sleepless. So I've not been playing anything. I got home and played a couple more hours of Sonic 3D Blast, and that was about it. So
yeah, you're not playing Final Fantasy 14 as much.
I just
Or
haven't
still
had.
every now and
I
again?
haven't really had time.
He's
Yeah.
been in an alcohol-induced coma.
I fell asleep Tuesday night, and I just woke up this morning. So everything's just a blur. But I'm looking forward
Well,
to.
Eric, since you've got your new capture card, we need to play
Yes.
Saints Row.
So Avermedia sent me a Live Gamer HD to do some PS4 streaming, and Dan and I are going to start playing Saints Row 4.
And
Nice.
if Ava Media
I still
are
haven't-
listening and they want to send me free stuff as well, free. That would be nice.
I still haven't played Saints Row 4. I've got it, but I haven't
Oh,
played it
Dan,
yet.
you're missing out.
Oh, Tom, play it. And download the Gat Out of Hell expansion. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I've got that. I've got it already. It's all
you
ready
get
to go. but I
wings
haven't
and you
played
can
it.
fly around the city. It's brilliant.
Oh, I
In
can't
true
wait.
Saints Row, I played Saints Row 4's Enter the Dominatrix DLC last night, which is what Saints
Oh
Row
my
4 was
God.
originally meant to be before it became Saints Row 4. And it ends with the Saints being rescued by a race of sentient raptors from space. And then you ride out of the city on these raptors while they're singing "Everybody Walk the Dinosaur." It's just so good. And I just laughed at it because it's just genius.
I've seen some of your pictures,
It's
Dan,
just-
that you shared. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
and did you see the one with the teddy bear with the dong?
Yeah.
Just wow.
I was like, fair enough. Just opened it like, okay, that's obviously Saints Row 4.
Yeah, the plan is hopefully we'll start to play through it. We did actually record some already, but because the PS4's capture stuff is terrible,
Oh, it's real
it
bad.
wasn't up to Eric's high standards.
I wanted it to look more than 8-bit. So,
It did look 8-bit by the end. It was terrible. So
Oh shoot.
we'll be playing through that this week, hopefully.
well,
At
yeah.
least.
I'm looking forward
Nice.
to next week with the Minish Cap.
Oh yes, I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it's not
It's
real long, but it's definitely one of the more entertaining Zelda games. So,
yeah. I started playing it only 10-15 minutes into it, but yeah, it seems like a decent little
there are
game.
some frustrating points where it's all about managing your size, because you can flip between micro and normal size, and you can only get to certain areas being small, but then it's finding the locations where you can switch to get into those areas. And it's cool. It's got a lot of puzzle elements to it. I really like that. But it's not very long, but it's really good. So I think I used to play it. I had the actual cartridge, but I sold my DS that had the Game Boy Advance slot on it. So I think today I'm going to go over I found a new game store in town that has Game Boy Advance SPs for like $35. So I think I'm going to go buy one of those.
Huh.
Those all had backlit screens, right?
I'm not sure. I had the Game Gear size one, the landscape one.
Yeah, the original Game Boy Advances that didn't have a backlit
SPs,
screen.
Yeah, I had that one.
Yeah. You'd have to find out. Google that.
I'm gonna Google it. But yeah, it'll be a game I'm looking forward to. Actually, we'll have a ton of time to play this week because I'm flying back to Wisconsin on Thursday for a friend's wedding over the weekend, so I'll have plenty of time to play in the airport and on the plane.
How many hours is a flight from Phoenix to Wisconsin?
About 3.5.
Oh, that's
So
not bad.
add 2 hours in the airport beforehand, and then
Oh yeah,
I'll get about 10 hours worth of decent gaming time in.
nice.
So, any final thoughts on anything?
No, I can't do final thoughts. It requires too much effort.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see. I think that's about it for this week. Dan, where can we find you on Twitter?
On Twitter, you can find me at Frosted Slothor.
How about you, Tom? Or
I'm at Hyper Jelly.
Hyper Jelly.
Or Hyper Jelly, or
You can find me at Honest Pizza, or if you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. That is going to do it for this week. We will see you next week. Hopefully, Jess will be here. And we'll be playing the Minish Cap on Game Boy Advance.